Hello, Hearties. Welcome to the Hearties Hotline. I am Cammie, the Hooked Hearty, and
Hey everybody, I'm Sarah. I'm the Hawk-Eyed Hardy, and we are here to talk to you about the last episode of When Calls the Heart.
Season 10, Episode 6, The Heart of the Problem. And there were a lot of problems to get to the heart to, or get to the heart of.
They are always very good with naming these episodes.
Yeah. I thought, which problem are we referring to in this title? It could be many.
It usually is.
Right. Yeah. So we've got the tourist versus the kids in the hot springs problem.
mm,
We've got the barbecue sauce problem. Very serious. Yeah.
yes,
Oh, yes,
super.
absolutely. And I'll get to that in a minute. And then we've got the heart of the problem of Rosemary's grief. And stemming off of that, the heart of the problem of naming this baby. And we finally have a name. Yeah. It only took us 4 episodes, but we're there. We've got a name.
So let's just go there.
Yes.
Thoughts?
So I don't totally care for the nickname of Goldie. I have to admit it. I went straight to Golden Girls. It was just nobody's named Goldie on Golden Girls.
I
It just
know. I'm
reminded
like,
me of it.
okay.
And, but Marigold, I love the name Marigold. I think that that is a beautiful old-fashioned name, and I
And
would
it
like
is
to.
quite similar to your guess,
I was just
which
about
was
to say I was
also a
half
flower.
right. I was
You were half
2/3 right. I was 2/3 right. Goldie, her mother did sing Lavender's Blue, and that was the song playing in the music box. And they did name her after Rosemary's mother. Her name just wasn't Lavender. So
And it was a flower. So
so I'm 3 right.
you were really close while still being really far.
I
Well, the
know.
name being totally different. But anyway, other than
But
that, you were right on. So close.
different but same. That's a
Sure.
Karate Kid quote.
Yeah,
So
sure. We'll go with that.
we'll go with that. So yeah, I thought that the name was beautiful, and I really loved how they solved the problem of the absent mom,
Mm-hmm.
and how, I mean, they brought in Lee, Elizabeth, and Joseph to have a meeting together because it was getting that serious. And we've only seen Rosemary this sad and this pensive on 2 or 3 other occasions. It doesn't happen very often.
No.
So we have when she didn't think that she could ever get pregnant, and
Sure.
oh, that that scene, talk about golden. That was a beautiful scene between the two of them. And then when Lee was lying unconscious,
Sure.
almost, and close to death, and begging Carson to heal him, and then when she found out she was pregnant,
Yeah.
and those are the only other times in 10 seasons that
Mm-hmm.
we've seen her this pensive. It's always been la, da, da. I had to do the hand gesture.
Mm-hmm.
It's not complete without it.
Yeah. I will add maybe when Jack went away in season 4.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes.
When she was by the fire or candlelight
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
with Lee. I think that was maybe not pensive, but
Yeah.
highly
Not,
highly emotional.
yeah, not as emotional as the other times, but still it hit her very hard that he was leaving.
Well, and just what that means for everyone. Like it was just that kind of glimpse of mortality.
Yes. Yeah, I will agree with that. All right. So
So I wanna jump on real quick though and say for me, I never would have thought of Goldie, but I think for them
it
it's
works.
it works, yeah. Or
Yeah.
anybody else in the town. If anyone else had named their kid that, I would be like, really? But come on. It's Rosemary. She needs a name that glimmers
Has
for her
sparkle.
child. Yeah. So
And I don't know if you saw this, but in the trunk, which we were half right on as well, it was Joseph who saved it, not Lee. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. I kind of would have liked to have Lee have the intuition to save it, but whatever, it was saved. That's
but what you can go with is you can always think that it was something about how Lee said it to Joseph that
yeah.
led Joseph to think there's something more to this,
I need to
and
hang on to this.
I need to hang on to it for a while.
Yeah.
So you can still give some partial credit, I think.
Yeah, we'll give partial credit, of course. But when Elizabeth,
because why would he have not actually thrown it away? Why would you give it to Joseph? Like that's just he knew what it was too. They
yeah.
made us think until like previously you just kind of thought, oh, it's this trunk. He's just talking about getting rid of an old trunk.
Uh-huh.
He clearly knew what was in the trunk. He knew it was passed to them from the executor of her father's estate.
Yeah.
He knew it was things that belonged to her mother and that she had never opened it. He knew all of those facts. So
there had to be something.
He knew. There's something in the way he gave that to Joseph of
yeah. When she and Elizabeth are going through the trunk together in the corner, this is where my Hawkeye came out. There's a little corner of a program and it says Manhattan Theater.
Oh.
And then the picture, which of course is Pascal, and I love that they did that.
Such a good idea.
It's so precious. It's so precious. And then, that looks very much like it could be a costume, the dress that she's wearing. And then there was that fancy shawl and all that. So I think that Rosemary's mother was passing on the performance gene, if you will.
Seems like it. Yes. Yeah. And writing apparently.
Yeah. And I mean, with a name like Goldie, that's a name that belongs in lights, Mm-hmm. So it only makes sense that she would go by Goldie. So yeah, if she was an actress, which apparently she was, so it makes complete sense that she would go with Goldie. So really quick, let's talk about some of those other names that were up for
I've blocked most of them from my memory. I don't really care to revisit them all.
I'll make this quick and painless.
Okay.
Gussie, Myrtle, which for the day is not that bad. It's that
no, back
then that was fine. Dimple. Oh no.
Now again, I think it's cute that a father would suggest interesting family names.
Yeah, great grandmother and great aunt. That should tell Leo a little something.
I do find it odd that Lee, who is a very conservative businessman,
pragmatic,
would think that that's a great name for my daughter. I'm like, especially Dimple. I'm like,
oh my gosh. I mean, dimples are cute.
Lee It doesn't
Yeah,
strike me as something Lee would want. It strikes
dimples
me
are
more as
cute and all.
something. I mean, it strikes me more as something Rosemary would have suggested, and he would have gone like, "Calm it down," like,
Well,
you know,
you know that becoming a parent changes you. So
apparently more than we knew. Okay. Um, but I love the comment that Rosemary said about like, I'm finding out all of these interesting names from your family. All
your
at
family
once.
has
Like,
very interesting names.
oh,
And Elizabeth added to it with, hello, you. Which Rosemary took in good stride. You know, she's like, well, what can I do?
yeah.
Yeah, that
It was cute though, that the concept of like, okay, we're gonna try on a name for today and see how it fits. And
see what works.
that was cute. That was cute. And
Yeah.
and growth for Rosemary to have clearly not liked any of the names, but let him try them out anyway.
Yes, she didn't immediately turn them down. Good for her.
Right? I mean, that takes a lot of willpower
Yeah.
to try on Gussie.
For Rosemary.
Yeah.
Yeah. In especially in a post-birth hormonal state. that takes a lot of guts.
And not even just try them on for themselves, but actually share these names with other people
Yeesh.
who have ears and can hear them. Yeah.
But Rosemary apparently blocked Dimple from her mind as well. So
Well,
but okay.
we deeply apologize to anyone out there named Dimples.
I would hope not. Oh, I would hope that your parents were nicer than that.
maybe a nickname. Maybe it's a nickname.
Nicknames
No,
are different.
no judgment here.
No judgment. I just really hope that your parents were nicer than that. Oh man.
Okay, getting into
But well, I have to I know. We got to get past this. So, but at the very end, when she is rocking little Goldie to sleep, did you notice the little yawn right at the end of the story? So
you couldn't have scripted that. That's just like
no.
one of those serendipitous moments when they're filming and they're just like, oh my gosh, that just happened. That's so perfect. We're using that cut.
Yeah, like, that one, Pascal, don't mess up.
Oh yeah. We'll dub you in later, but we're keeping the baby.
You know, Pascal has 2 sons. I wonder how much she's loving this idea of Rosemary having a baby girl, so that in a way she kind of gets to have the experience of having a baby girl. Have you thought about that?
It did cross my mind that she has boys, so yeah.
I mean, and she seems like a very girly girl, not over the top girly, but she seems very feminine. And so I don't know. I just think this might be a fun experience for her to see to get a taste of an experience of having a little girl.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's move to the older children of the town who are
This was such a fun episode for them.
Who were under the tutelage of a gambler, making them into card sharks.
I adored the uncertainty that Lucas found himself in. Like I didn't know. That's not what happened.
They're teasing you. They're teasing you.
No, I didn't do that. Oh, and I adore that Nathan had the wherewithal to tease him, given their Like, I mean, he's never really given up on teasing him, but like he has this way of like teasing him and being good humored about it while still taking it like just far enough to actually mess with Lucas and not know if he's teasing or not. Like, it's really fun to see their little interactions.
Well, and he hasn't called him Bouchard in quite a while.
Right?
I think the last time he called him Bouchard was when they both were new in town and he confronted him and saying, "Who are you, Bouchard?" And
I thought he had done it since then.
I think that's the last time I've heard him call Lucas Bouchard instead of Lucas.
At least to his face.
Yes, at least to his face. Yeah, he'll call him Bouchard to other people, but to his face, I think that's the last time he did it. And so that kind of brought up a tiny bit of tension, like, oh, he's calling me Bouchard, you know. And then why don't we leave the teaching to Elizabeth? You know?
Yeah.
His intentions were good.
His intentions were great, and quite honestly, I thought he handled it quite well. I didn't think there was really anything inappropriate with how he was.
No, it's funny because Will was watching part of it with me, and he said he didn't say anything wrong. What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. There was actually nothing inappropriate.
No, and I said, honey, they're teasing him. It's okay.
Yeah.
he's very Team Lucas, and he gets
and I think it was mostly because of how that had set up early on between Lucas and Allie with the card thing.
Yes, when she first arrived in town.
Yeah, so I think it's, I didn't think that was a big deal. I thought it was really great how he approached the situation in the first place, of
that he was even willing to help.
And it wasn't even that they had really asked him. So it was really him volunteering and giving some pretty good advice.
Yeah, each side needs to feel like they're getting what they want. I thought that's a brilliant way of putting it. And
especially considering basically he was potentially shooting himself in the foot here. These are his customers.
Right. And they're his guests
for this reason. So anything that would upset those people is potentially going to cost him a lot of money.
Yeah, he was teaching them to be sharp without any pencils.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but that joke just caught me off guard, and so I had to put it in somewhere.
There you go. You did it.
It was cute.
It was cute.
I'm trying to stay sharp. All right. So speaking of staying sharp, I gotta say this. Hickam sure was.
That was exactly where I was gonna go. I was like, speaking of staying sharp, we've got to be talking about Hickam.
Oh my gosh.
Do we have a new aerobics instructor?
These city types are antsy. Did you catch Elizabeth's face when he scooted in? She's like, what the? Okay.
Yeah. No, that was adorable on so many levels.
Oh my word. Oh my word. It was okay. I have to tell you this. So my mother, we were watching this episode together earlier in the week, and she said, is Aaron Krakow married? Because back when Daniel was still on the show, she said, I don't know what their personal situation is, and I don't really care, but those two are adorable together, and they should get married. So, but she didn't spread it all over social media or anything. That was
she didn't start that rumor? Okay.
No, she didn't. No, that was just her personal opinion.
Mom for that rumor. Okay.
She doesn't even have a Facebook account, so.
That you know of. I bet she's a secret one, and she is tweeting about them every night.
Oh my. But so she asks me, is Aaron Krakow married? And I said, no, she's not married, but she and Ben Rosenbaum, who plays Hickam, they have been a couple for a very long time, and she looks at me like,
surprise.
what? Mom, he's
This is
not
well
as
known.
nerdy as his character.
Yeah, no, he's actually really cool. I mean, Hickham's really cool, but in a
But that's
different
what I
way.
told her. I
Yes.
said, no, Mom, Ben's a really cool guy. I've talked to him. I've had a lot of interaction with him. He's a really cool guy. He is not as nerdy, but apparently she was having trouble separating character from actor.
Well, who doesn't have trouble with stuff like that? That's, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then seeing him, like, it takes a lot out of you. I was like, yeah, okay, I can see where she would be a little dubious.
Especially just seeing that, like, right then.
Yeah.
When hearing about it, but
and
yeah.
trying to act all authoritative, and it's just
I've
God.
liked the cute little the tiny little cute interactions that they've had. They really haven't had interactions in past seasons, so it's been really cute to see that this year.
Oh, you mean Aaron and Ben?
Aaron and Ben, yeah.
Ah, yes. Yes. Well, I remember there was a very brief interaction in a Christmas episode.
Well, yes, that was barely an interaction.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was a
this has
question.
been some actual, like, I don't know,
like
actual
serving
communication,
like serving her and Lucas a romantic dinner.
Yeah, but it's been funny because you know that they're having fun with filming that.
Oh yes, oh yes, they are definitely having fun with filming that. So let's move past that and go to the problem that the kids are having. They can't swim in the hot springs, and it's driving them crazy because the tourists want all day, every day.
And they will not compromise.
They will not compromise. So, I couldn't get to the heart of the problem. I thought that they were just being stubborn. And this is another thing I was right on. I kept on saying, post a sign. It's like,
not going to make them happy.
Hours of operation,
Yeah, I mean, that I think that easily could have happened. But I think that's the point is, okay, then that's just going to discourage people who don't have anything, I mean, it was the perfect solution when they came up with all of that information.
Yeah, and I love how Lucas
people would have just left. They would have just left. They would have been like, oh, I can only do this for a couple hours a day, or I could go somewhere else where I can do a lot of things, or I can be in a hot springs all day. You know, like if I don't have something to fill my time here, why am I here?
Yeah, and I love how Lucas arrived at it. So the problem is they're bored. I went, huh. And then these city types are antsy and
we don't really have much to do here.
Have to constantly be entertained.
Can you imagine? We didn't even used to have the hot springs till just now.
I know.
What did we do every day? People just sat threw the ball against the side of the building all day long.
Hey, it kept Cody entertained for hours.
I mean, for crying out loud, this is the first year I've actually seen a basketball hoop too. I mean,
or a football game,
or a foot like before it was just like, well, you've got a ball, you can throw the ball and catch the ball, but
we had one baseball tournament, and it wasn't even a tournament; it was a game.
And they're still talking about it. They're still talking about it. They're like, I was a basketball. All right, I coached baseball once. Yeah, I did. One time.
But yes, that was a really good way to show exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for a way to compromise. They're looking for a way to give everybody something of what they want. And they're looking for a way to help the tourists be kinder and make the kids not regret discovering the hot springs and telling other people about it.
There was that.
Yeah, I mean, I liked I liked that they kept on bringing it up. We're the ones that discovered it. We're the ones that found it. What, this is not fair. Why are we getting thrown out of our discovery?
Yeah.
So
And to be fair, they did have more limited time because they have to go to school.
yeah. That was another thing that Will laughed at, was the hours, like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. I said, well, sweetie, these guys are all kids on farms, so
Yeah.
they're up by 4. They're probably done with their chores by 6, so
Yeah.
so yeah, they're heading into town. They can have a little bit of time before school, and then off they go, and then they go home to do their afternoon chores, so
Yeah. So, I mean, solution, obviously, we're going to create more things to do in Hope Valley
yeah,
and
which is going to be more.
and give Mike one more job to do
Holy
because
moly.
he does not have enough jobs in his career.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, this one might really suit him.
Was that a pun, because of the suit he's gonna have to wear for calisthenics? One, two, one, two,
Yeah.
1, 2, 1.
I just, yeah, I thought that was really well written because he's really good at the comic relief this year.
He is. Ben is nailing the comic relief this year. You know who else is nailing the comic relief in a lot of ways? Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out what is going on. This is a problem we did not get to the heart of.
Okay.
So we found out when Harry, we know his name now, when Harry was talking to Nathan, that a big city type came, offered to buy the land for twice what it was worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that, the river dried up.
Huh.
And Madeline was right there to hear all that.
Madeline, you mean the person who's trying to buy property that a creek is running through?
Ah,
Huh.
shocking.
Yeah. A little suspicious.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, that
Well, I think we have a slightly better idea of what Madeline's up to.
uh-huh. So are you thinking what I'm thinking, that when they wouldn't take the offer,
They bought up a property.
they went and dammed up the river on purpose to drive them out?
I mean, yes. However, I find it really odd that this happened like a year ago, they're saying, but they have no clue why. Like nobody knows. Like, how would you not know that a river was dammed up?
Was it a year ago?
I thought he said it was like a whole, like, this is why it's affected their crops. And like, it would, if this had just happened, they wouldn't have had much consequence yet.
Yeah, it didn't
I thought that was why he had kind of turned to this life of crime, was because this had like affected their family so much.
Yeah, but I thought that it was just a few months that it had been really affecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we'll have to go back and find out what the answer is.
We'll have to go back and find out. So regardless, I mean, your river dries up. It's a river. Why would nobody look into that?
I know.
You've had this river forever.
But are you thinking,
and there have to be there, I'm assuming, and maybe I'm wrong, that there would be some laws against that?
Well, of course there are. This is all being done under the radar.
Like you can't just dam up the river.
This is corruption at its finest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm thinking And I don't know if you're thinking the same thing, but I'm thinking that when they didn't buy the land, that they went and dammed up the river or the stream to then dry up the land and drive them out, because
Yeah, then they can buy it at a cheaper price even.
And they can do whatever they want with it. And
even undam the river.
Did you notice when Nathan was there at Eagle Creek? Number one, it was a ghost town. There was nobody in sight.
Yeah, it looked a lot like Jack's Land.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, but did you notice the music? It was.
You would notice that, though.
I did. I pay attention to those things, but it was the music that they often use in tragedy. And
well, I mean that makes sense. They're trying to paint a really tragic picture.
Right. But I love that they reuse these themes because we can recognize them. Yeah. And so we can recognize what they're doing with it. And I recognized it immediately, and I went, it's the tragic theme. I don't know the title of the song, but it was, and it was really beautiful. It was really beautiful seeing it put to Nathan's face, because Kevin had some really great, because he was the only one. He had nobody to react off of. He had nobody to play off of. And I thought that he did a really, really beautiful job, because it was very brief. You have to put a lot of emotions in a very, very brief moment. And I thought he did a fabulous job playing that moment.
Yes.
Just
100%.
Look how terrible this is. What a tragedy. Now I understand.
Yeah. And especially after having kind of judged Harry, and maybe not believed that this story was fully accurate.
Yeah.
And then seeing it all come to life.
The evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also saw a little bit of what could I have done? You know, there was a little bit of regret and a little bit of what can I do? That helpless looking feeling.
So this just struck me. So I didn't pay a lot of attention when I was watching for this, but what did he say about the Mountie from Eagle Creek?
I believe he said that the Mountie got reassigned, so he's going over to check things out. I think that's what he.
So the lawman was reassigned right at the same time that all this was happening?
Which goes back to the theory that
somebody with big pockets,
Mr. Governor,
potentially, that is part of our theory. He could be involved in that, or somebody else with very big pockets.
That's our theory.
Because who has the ability to get Mounties reassigned? It's very wealthy men like Mr. Thatcher.
Exactly. And it's very powerful men like politicians. So, Governor Balfour, are you bribing and threatening and reassigning lawmen? Shame on you, Governor.
Well, that upcoming picture of him shaking hands with Nathan,
scary.
If that's true, he's angling to go after him next.
Probably. And if memory serves me correctly, Nathan ain't smiling. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, because, Balfour, aka Mark Brandon's got his arm around him, he's shaking his hand, he's got a big smile, and Nathan's just
Well,
so
at that point in time, that's towards the end of the season. So yeah, there's still a lot of opportunity for developments in this area.
Yep. So yeah, it will be very, very interesting to see what comes of this and see what comes of Madeline and her son, because Jamie does not want to leave for sure now. He does not want to go. He's thriving. He's not alone anymore. He's opened up. He's he's riding a bicycle. There are all kinds of these things that he's able to do that he couldn't do in, as Lucas put it, Philadelphia high society.
Playing football with Bill.
And Bill was really taking him under his wing. That was
So
really
sweet.
It was very cute.
Okay, speaking of that though,
yeah,
Bill is suspicious.
yes, he doesn't sense that everything is on the up and up. So,
which is good, because I was worried that he was going to be extremely blinded by his feelings, and just completely be taken by something. Now it does appear
he was blinded by the blonde hair. No offense, Sarah.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that tends to be what gets him. It does seem like he has been taken. He's given her the papers. All she has to do is sign.
And he rushed them. He called in a favor to rush them.
So, but he is suspicious. So that makes me think potentially he's already got something up his sleeve. Maybe those papers aren't what they seem to be. I don't know, but he does seem to be the one. If there's one character in all the past 10 seasons here where something's not as it seems, it's with him. So
yeah,
if he's got a little bit of suspicion in him, I'm hopeful that that means he's playing his cards correctly.
Well, I mean, he's the James Bond of Hope Valley, right?
So. Yes.
But I did think it was funny when Nathan said, "So you're wandering around in the dark asking me to fix your porch?" You know,
yes.
Nathan can see through this, and I did find this very poignant when he said, "Take it from me, missing out." And he didn't go deep in, he didn't get super emotional. It was just a matter-of-fact statement. I thought that was really, really well written and really, really well played. And
because that's what somebody would have said in real life. It was very realistic.
And it's acknowledging that it happened. It's happened a few times because Nathan's making his Mountie rounds.
Ooh, come on, Nathan. At least you get out there, ask for a dance. There's something.
Which
some sort of really mild progress.
Well, yeah, it was very, very small progress, but it was progress.
It was progress.
We reached the we reached a vein of the problem with this. It was not the heart of the problem.
It's not quite the heart, but
no, but we reached a vein.
Getting close.
Did you love how Nathan and Bill kind of swapped places? First it was Nathan. Yeah, first it was Nathan giving Bill the advice. Missing out is the worst feeling, and then Bill says, "Yeah, it was good advice then," and he just takes the drink right out of Nathan's hand as he's like, he wanted payback for that sandwich.
That's fair.
That's fair. And he said, "It's still really good advice." And then so Nathan responds by, bam, he's just tossing the glove on him, which I thought was fantastic. So
they have a fun.
I was glad to see the scene. I was glad to see the moment between Nathan and Faith, because we didn't get one last episode. There's a lot of theories.
unanswered questions.
Are a lot of theories and unanswered questions floating around out there, but I am trying personally to stay present, and I'm trying really hard to keep us, present in the recapping. But I don't know. I don't know. And there's a lot of back and forth, and there are a lot of theories out there. So if they are going to move forward with Nathan and Faith, I personally won't mind. I thought the image of them dancing was very cute.
Yes.
And I like that he finally got the guts to ask her.
Mm-hmm. I was only slightly not concerned. Hickam was right next to her. And they just like 2 episodes ago had all this banter about Hickam not wanting Faith and Nathan to spend time together. And
he didn't ask her to dance.
And he didn't ask her to dance. And then Nathan asked her to dance, and he was just kind of like, it was like,
yeah. And should I mention that I also took a peek at the press package photos of episode 12, and there was a picture of Hickam and May dancing. So
Nathan's not the only one with rounds.
Used. Now what do we call this? Round 3 Hickam? I don't know what to call this.
I keep thinking something like, instead of the like Nathan's rounds, I liked that, but like with Hickam, it's more like, and I say this with the utmost sarcasm because it's so not what Hickam's doing.
Right.
That it's like he's sowing his oats, and I'm like, it's so not what he's doing, but that's what makes it so funny, because you're like, he doesn't have wild oats to sow. He's not wild. He's like the farthest thing from wild on this show. Yeah. But yet he's got all this stuff going on right now.
I'm so confused.
He really is like the jack of all trades of Hope Valley.
And like, the jack of all women at the moment.
And there you go. Every single career possibility, every single romantic possibility. We could have like a mix and match game where you're just like,
like those cards that mix the top, middle, and bottom.
Yes, and you could, or the book where you flip the pages.
Yeah,
and like you could have Hickam right here, and like, what's Hickam doing today?
Or maybe on when I was running my blog, I did the Friday face off with Nathan and Lucas. Maybe now we need to have a Nathan and Hickam face off.
There you go. It's almost like Clue. It's like, okay, so Hickam, who's he dating, and what's his profession this week?
And what tool does he have in his hand for it? Oh goodness. All right. So the final problem that we got to the heart of, which sauce was better? the barbecue sauce.
I have to say, I kind of was already on the track when Bill came up and made his comment. I was like, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It was like, something.
Oh, really?
I was like, just mix them together.
Oh, well, good for you.
I didn't know they were gonna actually do that, but I was like, just give it up. Quit arguing.
I'm sorry to say this, but I would not be a true Texan if I did not say it. I don't know what they're doing for barbecue, but I don't know if it could honestly be considered barbecue, not in the Texas definition anyway.
Well, there are very different definitions. Around the country.
So let me show you a thing or two about real barbecue in Texas. My friend, I have a friend down here who makes the best barbecue sauce. He makes it better than any restaurant, and he'll every once in a while will say, "Hey Jason, you want to cook us up a little meat?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, yes. He makes great. You had some, right?
I did not get any of the barbecue sauce. I did not. All of that was gone when I got there.
I'm a bad friend.
All I got was the big pot of baked beans was all that was left from that.
You got there. Oh, that's awful. Oh man, we're still not through all those beans.
Well, it's
It's
because everybody keeps thinking they're what
brownies.
brownies. Everyone thought they were brownies.
Yes, so my friend from college, who was also here at the weekend with us, she had it in her head that this big pot of baked beans was a big pot of brownies.
And I don't know who makes brownies in a big pot.
No,
Like a big.
but yeah,
But once it was said, it was like that. I couldn't, and it's like that. You can't unsee it. You're just
no,
like,
you
oh
can't
yeah,
unsee that. No.
oh yeah. It's like it's a pot of brownies, which sounds bad when you say it that way. But
luckily, she figured out that it was not brownies
before she like took a bite.
Put them on her plate. So
yeah, and the beans were very good. I want to
Will
they were
made
very
those
good
beans. That wasn't Jason. That was Will. So,
but we did then. We were craving brownies the rest of the trip. We're like, where's the
give me brownies? Give me brownies.
Like we thought we had brownies, and now there's no brownies.
Carrot cake,
We had a whole bunch of others, tons of ice cream. There was tons of treats, but it was just like once you have it in your mind, you're gonna have one thing.
You want brownies?
You're like, oh man.
But this
no, I did not. I didn't try the sauce. I'm sorry, Jason. I will have to come back. Darn.
Yes. Yeah. Darn. Just gonna have to come back and try Jason's meat and his homemade sauce. Yep. You just have to now. But back to the episode.
Okay, so St. Louis,
the community dinner,
Kansas City,
the community dinner where these two sauces met. I just have to say one thing. That is what a community dinner is supposed to look like. Can I just say that?
but
about
20 people who are the main characters showed up, and then they were like, who did you invite to this barbecue? And I'm like, I thought it was for the whole community. They should have invited everyone.
But there were.
They really weren't, because even Gowan was like, you're inviting me? Like, dude, it's a community dinner. Yes, everyone's coming. I
think that's what they were planning for at the beginning. They wanted to open it to the community, but then they kind of realized that would be a little big. But then it was too late by the time they realized it, and it was all.
Don't have it outside on Main Street.
But
yes, everyone's gonna show up. You're smoking barbecue. You can smell it down at the row houses. Of course, everyone's gonna come.
But see, that's what I'm saying is, we had a community dinner in the first episode of this season, and it was 2 tables inside the saloon, and nobody was sitting at the table who didn't have a part in the episode, and
nobody knew what was happening till it happened either.
No,
like you couldn't plan.
It wasn't a community dinner. So I really loved this community dinner because there were people there who were not main cast. It was a big group, and then there were games, it was fantastic. And even Will said, now that's what a community dinner is supposed to look like. I said, yes, dear, I know. I agree with you. But while we're talking about Henry, did you notice he dressed for the occasion?
He even was a little less scruffy. I mean, yes. he might have like combed the beard a little bit.
Maybe he even trimmed it.
He might have trimmed it a little bit.
Yeah,
he brushed his hair. And maybe even washed his hair.
And he's not in suspenders and an old shirt. He wore a suit with a vest. And slacks and a tie. Yeah. Amazing. What?
I love it's just remarkable, the journey he's been on.
Well,
It just,
and the preview for next week
mhm.
is,
Oh gosh,
or should I say in a couple days, it's
Rosalie.
perfect. It's
I hadn't even
perfect.
thought of that. I knew, like, I'd seen the pictures. I knew
That she was coming
that
back. I know. I didn't think of it either.
Mamie was coming and that we were going to see Rosalie and all that. And I never went there. I never
Oh,
went there.
me
And I don't
neither.
know why, because it makes so much sense. She's been gone this whole time. She hasn't seen any of the arc he's been on.
Yeah.
He killed her father.
Yeah.
Her
She
mother
remembers.
doesn't seem to have a care in the world about it.
Yeah.
Like, how
She
weird would that
remembers
be?
season 2 Gowan. That's
How
who she
weird would
remembers.
that be to move away, move back into town, and see your mother interacting with this man
Happily.
happily, and the whole town kind of embracing him now?
Uh-huh.
I just can't even. I mean, I find it hard to believe that she didn't know that he was still there or anything, but wow,
That is going to make a compelling storyline.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And it's probably what will actually help him in his final kind of stages of redemption.
Yeah, you think so?
But at the same time, like, it's gonna bring him back down first.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a dip, and then hopefully
before it can come back up.
rise back up. Yeah. And I just had this thought. It just entered my brain. So Hope Valley is getting its first radio.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a connection there? Pardon the pun, but communication. Because that's what's missing between Rosaline and Henry. And then the radio is a means of communication with the outside world, and they're
Possibly.
having communication in town, and they're having problems with it. And we saw the sparks coming from the radio, so obviously they're going to have problems with that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're doing kind of a communication tie-in.
Yeah, miscommunication.
Yeah.
That could be.
So before we finish up, I do have a question of the day. You cannot say Marigold. You can't.
Okay.
What was your favorite problem that was solved? Which problem did they solve the best for you, or it was the most entertainingly done? You know, anything like that. What was your favorite problem that was solved? And you cannot say Marigold, because I know that's what you would say.
Of course.
Duh.
It has to be Lucas and the children. I think that it was just so carefully, like, it was so orchestrated to the point where I almost think Lucas knew what the problem was and what the solution was. And he just laid it out in a way so the kids could do it, so they could figure it out and learn from it. Like, it was just so, I mean, maybe not, but it was done in such a way that it could have been that way. And that just fascinated me.
He seemed very in charge of the whole thing.
Calm and so just
except
like
when he got caught.
Well, no, but I mean, like, with the kids.
Yeah, with the kids.
The other adults, he seemed like really nervous. I really don't know much about children, do I? You do, actually. Actually, you're pretty darn good with them.
You know how to get through to them.
And they listen and they care what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked his interactions with them and how that led to an actual meaningful lesson that they learned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, Goldie. Oh goodness.
All right, Hearties, on that note, I think we're saying goodnight.
I was going to say Lucas as well, but the hot springs. It was very entertainingly done. So yes, that was probably my favorite one because the solution wasn't simple.
No.
Yeah, with with the barbecue, I didn't see that solution of combining the sauce, but it was very simply done. Just
Yes.
combine them. So the hot springs had, more nuances to it. It took more thought. So
Well,
yeah.
I don't think there was any thought in Bill's solution to the
No,
sauce.
there
I think
wasn't any.
there were supposed to be two. I just mixed them all together.
So now we will leave you. We hope that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in your day. And we will see you next time for the very compelling storyline, we hope, of the best laid plans.
We'll talk to you later, Hearties. Bye.
Bye.